Alright, yo guys, what is good? You've got Techno here, your coach of the Carolina Pantherians, and today we are back with another NPL upload. So, last week, if you guys didn't see, we played off against my good pal Mio, and we did actually win 3-0. A bit hacksy, but there were still, like, I guess counterplays we could have made to make sure that we didn't actually just end up taking the loss without the hacks. So that was a pretty nice game to have, especially for our week 1. And now we're looking to get into week 2 and try to get off just as good of a win. And so we are up against another good pal of ours, Uzi Gunner, who we played last season in the last game of our season, since we weren't eligible for playoffs because of being added late. And essentially, the reason that I didn't have to win that game, so like I didn't have like the greatest prep, but I did have pretty good prep, and I did kind of lose that game because I messed up with a showdown mechanic, didn't understand something, and the Zoroark kind of tricked me. Which it's better than it usually does, I guess. But anyway, so we're back with this week battle, and now we are up against a completely different team, and this team is very scary, so let's just get right into it. He has Z Kieran Black, which, by the way, right off the bat, you guys see Z Kieran Black, and I'm sure you guys know that this was not fun to prep for. Thunderous Incarnate, Uniclus, Klefki, Delmise, Volcanion, Tyranitar, Z Stoutland, Archeops, Palisand, Mega Steelix, and Wigglytuff. So this is honestly just a very solid team overall. So many really awesome mods that he has just rocking out. And just really nice synergy over his team. I really like the Sand along with the Mega Steelix. That's really cool to have. Just like so many different like nice synergized mons. However, I felt like that wasn't going to be too much for us to deal with, and we could definitely do a lot this matchup. So a couple of things I was looking at. So first of all, I'm not going to bring a team that likes switching into Kieran Black. No matter what I try, nothing on my team really wants to come in on it, honestly. Maybe Incineroar, but I don't have Intimidate, so that just makes it like even worse versus it. And then I have to bring Defensive, then it just like loses to other mons. So I didn't like it this matchup, so I just didn't bring it. I could have brought it, but like at the same time, I didn't feel like it was worth it. Thunderous Incarnate's also a pretty big threat, but I have like more stuff for that. So overall, just like those are the mons that I'm really looking forward to playing. Which I'm not, if you can't sense the sarcasm in my voice. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into what my team is. So first mod I decided to bring is going to be our Mega Kangaskhan with Return, Earthquake, Fake Out, and Crunch. Now, there were a couple of different moves that I contemplated running on this thing. I contemplated Sucker Punch, contemplated Aqua Tail, contemplated Fire Punch so that a Magnet Rise Klefki couldn't fuck with me. But so I just kind of ultimately decided, okay, I'll just run Earthquake because Magnet Rise Klefki's like alright. I'll run Return. I need that normal stab. I will run. And I was gonna run Aqua Tail for the Archeops, but then I realized that Palisand is really nice versus me, and I really thought he'd bring it. Part of the reason why I didn't bring my Buzzwole, which absolutely just destroys his entire team, if he doesn't have the Palisand, but the Palisand is just too big of a threat for that, so I didn't really want to deal with it. And it's not that it's too big of a threat, but there's just also better brings instead of Buzzwole that don't just lose to it. So yeah, we've kind of got that, and yeah, so that's really nice. So I just brought Crunch so that the Water Compaction ability wouldn't activate and I wouldn't get the defense boost and just lose to Palisand. And then Fake Out so that basically I can just like scout out a couple of sets, see what he wants to stay in with me on. Helps me with Trick Room, Uniclus, which is always very nice. And yeah, so that's going to be our Kangaskhan this week, just kind of like a wall breaker. Just like noticed how it did a lot to his team. Didn't bring it last week, and it's the one I want to try to have fun using, so I definitely decided I'll just bring it this week, see how it goes. So we'll just see how well it does in this battle. Next mon we have is going to be our Zygarde 10%. Actually, I'll just cover my Krogonal first, because you guys can see this is kind of like the support for my Zygarde 10%. This was kind of what I came in with the game plan of. So we have a Rapid Spin, Ice Beam, Light Screen, Recover Krogonal with Light Clay, 80 HP, 252 special attack, and 176 speed. Now, in theory, when I was doing my mocks, I had dual screens. However, looking at it, I what I was realizing is that I kind of was a lot more weak to his special attackers with my Zygarde than I was to his physical attackers. So I decided to run that. In essence, maybe it was a mistake because I want to recover so that I could help deal with the Kieran Black more, the Thunderous Incarnate more, a couple of mons just a lot more than I already did. But unfortunately, I just decided I'll just go with yeah, this instead of Reflect. You guys will see how it does in the actual battle. But yeah, so this is going to be our Krogonal, and then we have our Zygarde 10%, which Black, can't even speak today, 1000 Arrows, Dragon Dance, Extreme Speed, and Outrage with this spread. Now this guarantees outspeeds his entire team, unless there's a Scarfer on his team, which could be Thundurus, the Kyurem, just a lot of different mons on his team, or it also can outspeed a Stoutland and Sand, but that's about it. And Just looking at it, Dragon Dance, after Dragon Dance, just kind of run through his team. Dragonium Z helps me deal with Dhelmise, Reuniclus, even the Palossand if I need to, so no matter what, I'm getting a nuke off on one of them, and I'm pretty sure that like Dhelmise should just kind of drop to it. Dhelmise should just Reuniclus should take a lot from it no matter what. Palossand should likely take a lot from it, and that's why I also have more support on my team with my Greninja. You guys will see, you have Toxic Spikes, Hydro Pump, Water Shuriken, and Dark Pulse, so similar set to last week, but no Z-move. Z-move is instead on my Zygarde, so I just have this set, and I have priority so that I can help deal with a couple of mons a lot more. So Toxic Spikes are also there so that I can help deal with the mons that I also like struggle with more, and that's also going to help me tie into the mon that I have next. So first of all, it helps with my Kangaskhan, helps with my Zygarde, and it helps with my Zapdos, which is Sub, Thunderbolt, Roost, and Heat Wave. Now I thought that this thing was a really nice set versus this team. Outspeeds everything I can outspeed with it, with the 319 speed, make sure that I guaranteed outspeed the Kyurem. So this thing's just overall pretty nice to him. So Substitute, Thunderbolt, Roost, and Heat Wave helps me deal with a lot of mons through Pressure Stall. If I really need to resort to that, then that's like totally fine. I will definitely do that if it's my best play. And yeah, with Toxic Spike, nothing really wants to beat this thing. It also just like kind of takes a lot more damage from mons like, I don't know, I guess this thing helps me a lot with like Steelix and stuff like that. I was gonna bring Buzzwole over this, but I decided not to because this thing doesn't ultimately lose to the Palossand, which I like really was feeling a lot of struggle with because of Toxic Stalls and stuff like that. But anyway, so this is going to be our Zapdos. And the last mon we have is going to be our Steelix with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Toxic, and Stone Edge. Not really much to say here, I just kind of need Stealth Rocks. I've been over that quite a bit. This thing's my only rocker so far, so probably going to be coming to quite a few games just throughout the season. So yeah, so this is going to be the team we have, and we will see how it does in the battle. So here we go. Okay, so here we are at the battle, and you guys can see he brings a team of Thundurus Incarnate, Dhelmise, Kyurem Black, Steelix, Reuniclus, and Volcanion. So first thing I noticed is no Palossand, so that really infuriated me, but at the same time I'm kind of relieved. Not really relieved though, because you guys can see the team he brought just kind of gets destroyed by Buzzwole, and I didn't bring it, which is really unfortunate. I was gonna bring like sub Buzzwole, but you know, what can you really do about that? So yeah, we just have to go with what we got, I guess. So looking at that, since I thought he'd need a defensive sponge on his team, I thought it would be the Reuniclus. Just made the most sense versus my team, I felt. Just in general, just kind of like took so many hits very well. Didn't get pressured out by like too many things besides like my Greninja, and yeah, it's just a really nice defensive sponge for me. So that's all I think he really needs this battle. So we'll just see how that goes. Looking at lead matchup, I think I'm gonna decide to lead right off with my Kangaskhan to try to get a fake out off on something and like maybe switch out if I'm feeling it. I had this scenario in a lot of different mocks, so yeah, we'll just lead with Kangaskhan and see how it goes. So Milf Marian's gonna come out and he leads with Kyurem, and I'm like, oh shit. So this is right off the bat not that great. Because this thing is now just going to be able to click a Z move if I'm not careful. So I'm just going to have to go for Fake Out. And yeah, so we go for Fake Out, and I see this damage, and I'm like, okay, that's not, this Kyurem definitely has some bulk. And I just hit my mic, awesome. This Kyurem has some bulk, which is annoying, but then it also helps me like realize that it's probably not going to be a Scarf set. So, which I guess it doesn't really tell me that much, but it's nice for like my Zygarde and stuff like that, so pretty okay in general. So what I decided here is, okay, so maybe he might fear a low kick or something, or like a drain punch or anything, or like a sub maybe. Anything could really come out here and have him be afraid of me. So just what I want to do here is I want to just stay in, because I'm kind of feeling that the Kangaskhan, although it does do a lot versus his team, I kind of need the other mons on my team more. I still need the Cryogonal because rocks are still really annoying versus my team, and I want to keep light screens up. I need my Steelix because I need to get a Brox no matter what. Z-Freeze Shock into Ice Beam will definitely be able to kill my Steelix from there. So I'm just going to stay in and see how much damage I can do with this return right here. I do quite a bit of damage, and you guys are going to see he goes for his Z move, and it's an Ice type move, and he gets a crit. If it's Z Ice Beam, there's a chance that might have mattered depending on my spread or his spread or anything, but I'm going to go with the benefit of the doubt and say the Z Freeze Shock. So here comes in my Greninja, and looking at this turn, I probably should have prioritized getting up my Toxic Spikes. That's not what I'm going to do. You guys are going to see. I'm just going to go right for Dark Pulse because I felt like he might have no switch-ins, and I also thought maybe it'd sack the Kyurem, but it doesn't. He instead goes to this thing, which is likely AV. So here he's gonna go for Steam Eruption, and here I'm just gonna click sub because I feel like he kind of like he's not gonna want me to stall it. No, I just go for Roost there. I probably should have Heat Waved. But looking at this, or Heat Waved or subbed or anything, but I probably could have subbed there and stalled some PP, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter. So looking at this, even if I was offensive, I don't kill Kyurem, so I'm like, okay, I have to switch out here. I'm gonna go into my Karagonal and just see what happens from there. And now I'm in a bad position because his Kyurem can two-shot my Steelix pretty easily or just do a lot of damage to me, so I'm gonna make sure I get up my light screen before I go right into it. And now my rocks are going to go up as he's going to go into his own Steelix. I'm like, okay, great. So this is some nice damage I'm probably gonna need for later with my Zygarde if I want to just kind of clean up. So there comes the Earthquake, and now he's gonna go into his Reuniclus, and I'm like, oh shit, this is doing absolutely nothing. So I'm gonna try to make some plays here. So I go into my Zapdos, just trying to stall some PP, just to see what happens. He goes for Focus Blast, and this happens. He just doesn't. Well, it doesn't do very much because my leftovers, and just get it all back. So now I'm gonna go into my Greninja, trying to get him on a Psychic move, but he makes a very good play. Goes for another Focus Blast. Unfortunately, it doesn't miss. We have the light screen up, so I do tank it, but now my Greninja is definitely weakened quite a bit. So Dark Pulse is gonna come out here, and yeah, so now I'm just going to keep on clicking Dark Pulse, and this thing is just going to go down. And here comes a pretty impactful moment in the battle. So he goes into his Thundurus, and ultimately what I decide is, okay, so I'm going to prioritize getting up my T-Spikes, because he might want to sack this and then something else to make sure I don't get up T-Spikes. But no, I'm not going to let that happen because I'm too good for him. I don't think that I'm too good for him, but yeah, I don't want, I really felt like I needed T-Spikes. Then he whips out the Scarf Thundurus with the U-turn, and here what I'm thinking is I'm panicking. I am so fucking annoyed at myself for not letting this happen. I should have Water Shuriken there so bad. I so badly should have Water Shuriken. But I thought a couple of things. I thought he'd try to make a play into like his Delmise or something, trying not to take another sack or something. Like so many different things I was thinking of in this turn that I just fucking really fucked up. I should have just clicked Water Shuriken. Torrent boosted Water Shuriken would have done so much to this stupid thing, but in the end it doesn't really matter. It does, you'll see, but yeah, so now he's U-turned out, and he goes into his Kyurem Black, and I'm like, okay, so here, my best play is to go right to my Steelix, just to make sure that I, like, can get off a Toxic on this thing, to make sure I can, like, wear it down, and I actually go for Stone Edge here, another way to wear it down, but it does quite a bit, but not too much at all, because Steelix isn't that strong, particularly, so I go for Toxic here, and, yeah, so now he goes for Ice Beam, and I'm going to take a lot, and I'm just going to Stone Edge, and I get a crit. That crit, it could have mattered like a little bit, but it doesn't really matter that much, because then he's just in range of something else on my team, which is totally fine with me. So yeah, we take those. And now I'm going to go into this thing, and I'm just going to click the Ice Beam and get rid of his Kyurem Black. So in comes the Fetus God. I'm just going to Rapid Spin on this thing, and then he starts Calm Minding up, and this is going to come to a really interesting point in the battle. So I have to kind of get up my light screen. I keep thinking he's going to Calm Mind up, and now I have to get my Zapdos into a range where I can like safely like sub and roost stall this thing, which isn't what I want to do, but if I'm able to do that, what I'm kind of thinking is, okay, so after that, my Zapdos can just like safely kind of like come in on him, and see what I can do. So I probably could have started like clicking these moves earlier, but I still have this light screen up, so I'm like, okay, I'll take these hits still, and now I'm gonna Roost, and he's gonna Calm Mind. So we just kind of like this like kind of scenario keeps on playing out for like quite a while. So we'll see just like how it goes here. And the Thunderbolt's gonna come out, and I'm just like not gonna do a lot to him. It's like the same scenario, and I get the full parry. You guys would have noticed. That's actually gonna really suck because it means that my pressure stalls might not be doing that well versus him. And on this turn, I expected him. This was a misclick actually. If he Psyshocked here, I was so fucking boned. Luckily, he fucking just Calm Minds here, so that's a lifesaver. And I'm gonna put this on fast now because if you guys can't tell, this is just kind of gonna be like a stall war between my Zapdos and this Reuniclus. So let me just, before I start skipping turns, I'm just gonna kind of like set the scene real quick. So this Reuniclus is kind of like lowering its PP quite a bit whenever it side shocks me because of my pressure ability. Its status moves aren't getting lowered in PP, but if I'm able to successfully stall this thing out, there's definitely quite a few ways I can do that. What I'm then gonna be able to do is I'm just gonna be able to win with my Zapdos. Which is really nice because you guys can see the rest of his team. Zapdos just kind of destroys him. He's Scarf Thundurus, which means that he can't really do much to my Zapdos. Like Thunderbolt's gonna do like a very marginal amount, very like just not a lot to me. So, by the time he gets to a lower amount of PP, I'm going to try to bait him into Focus Blasting my Zapdos, which you guys will see. There comes a scenario where he has 1 Focus Blast left and 2 Psyshocks left. And yeah, that's just gonna be like how I can like kind of win this game. I'm gonna try to bait out that Focus Blast. I'll take it even if he's +4, and I'll be able to sub up and start to roost back up. I just have to start baiting out these attacks, and then his Psyshocks are always taking 2 every time. So I'm gonna sub here, and what I'm thinking is, okay, there's gonna be a scenario where I can possibly go into the Cryogonal, because I don't want to waste any PP, because this thing can definitely still win the game, this Zapdos. So I'm gonna Thunderbolt here, and like it's just the same Star Wars. So I'm sorry if this is boring, but I hope that like me explaining what I'm trying to do here is like kind of helping. So I'm just gonna keep Thunderbolting, and I'm probably gonna start skipping soon, to the point where I actually go into my Cryogonal. So I just start Heat Waving here. So trying to not waste PP, so same kind of PP Star War. And now I go Cryogonal on this turn, and he Calm Minds, and I'm like, okay, this is the scenario I need, because I went into this thing because he only has 2 Psyshocks left and 1 Focus Blast left, and I don't want to waste PP with my Zapdos, which might have been stupid in essence, but I think it's like still totally fine. So what I'm going to decide to do is I'm going to go into my Zapdos. I can bait out the Psyshock, and then if he tries to kill off my Cryogonal, I can like Ice Beam him. And then what else I can do is, if he Focus Blasts me, he's out of PP attacks, and I can just set up with my Zygarde, and I can possibly just win this game, depending on how many times I set up. So, yeah, we'll just see how this goes. Go into my Zapdos, see if I can bait it, but he gets parried. And, spoilers, that's actually going to happen a few times where I'm going to go Cryogonal, and I'm just trying to bait this move. Just really want to bait this move, and you guys are going to see now he's just going to fucking do that. So you just get parried, so, who cares? So I'm just trying to make sure this doesn't happen, keep on happening every single time. So Thunderbolt's going to come out here, Heat Wave going to come out there, go Cryogonal, and now I believe this turn where I go Zapdos, and he goes for Focus Blast, and yeah, so now I'm like, okay, so this Focus Blast doesn't do enough to the point where I'm out of range of a substitute, which is beautiful, because that means I can substitute, just Roost Stall back up, and now he only has like 1 attack left to hit me, since it's 2 PP, but I do waste PP. So yeah, I'm like, beautiful. So this means I've basically just won this game with my Zapdos right here, in like any way you shape it. But he fucking crits me, which leaves me at 4% with the Zapdos, and yeah, this was bad. This was really bad. And on this turn, there was looking at it, my play probably could have been to go into my Cryogonal. However, I still wanted to keep that thing around just in case I needed a sack for any like whatever reason. And I'm already like way too low to the point where I'm comfortable with my Zapdos versus a lot of his team, and he can Toxic me. He can try to stall me out with a couple of different mons. So I'm really annoyed about that, but now I'm just gonna sack off my Zapdos, try to waste his Psyshock, because basically if I went Cryogonal, he wouldn't have actually been able to kill me with this thing. So I'm like, okay, so finally get the fucking para, please. But no, he doesn't. And I get the Psyshock off, and I'm like, okay. So what this means is I can still possibly win this game with the Zygarde, which is really nice. So I'm just going to go into Zygarde, and I'm just going to click the DD right here. No reason not to, as he's going to go into his Dumb Eyes. And I'm like, okay, sweet. So this thing basically always dies to a Dragonium Z, even if he's max HP, max defense. Even with max HP, max defense investment, it's still a roll very nicely in my favor to kill it. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I might lose the 50-50 here, depending on what he wants to go into, but I'm like, fuck it, I don't even care anymore. If he's max attack Power Whip, or like any attack Power Whip, he has a very good shot to kill my Zygarde, so I can't really risk this. I'm just gonna go for Dragonium Z, and I'm like, sweet, I win this game. And then he lives on 4%. So this was a very low roll on the max attack Zygarde. You can't complain about rolls, really. Like, you can complain about them, but they're not really hacks. But that's just so unfortunate compared with the crit on my Zapdos, for so many different reasons. And yeah, you're gonna see the Power Whip doesn't kill, and I know that this Steelix is always just gonna be able to take this hit from my, the Zygarde, just because of how fast Steelix naturally is. I could have Dragon Danced up again, but then again, it's also a risk that he's max attack Power Whip and he just misses. But I can't really do that. So yeah, we're gonna take this loss 1-0, 2-0 actually. And this was a really tough loss for me to take. I was pretty annoyed about it just because of the circumstances around the Zapdos and the Zygarde and all that. I was also really thrown off by the Dumb Eyes set, but overall I think he played well. won't have to beat me, and we can't really let this bother us too much. We're just gonna have to come back next week, just see how it goes. You know, games like these happen where you just like feel like you could have like really easily won, and then just shit happens. A lot of different stuff can definitely happen. So yeah, there we go. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope to see you guys next time. Make sure you guys check out Uzi. He's a very cool dude. I was very happy to play him again this season. So yeah, anyways, see you guys. Peace.